Hello there and welcome to the European Parliament for our new guest of the week, the weekly show of Euranet Plus. Today we're talking about internal energy markets with our guest, who is the former President of the European Parliament, a Polish MEP now from the European People's Party. I have the pleasure to welcome Mr. Buzek. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Buzek.
Good morning. I am very glad I can have a short interview with you about internal energy market, which is so important for our citizens. That's the most important.
For our future.
So also, besides me, we've got Jean-Michel Boss, who is the chief editor of Euranet Plus, and he is going to ask you one or two questions during this interview. So let's start. So about this internal energy market. So today what is missing in Europe, it's a common energy policy. So today we can see that every country does his own business. For example, Germany with the nuclear energy and others for the renewable energy. So how can we create a European energy community?
Well, there are two different things. Energy mix in each member states, because we can have different energy mix. For example, in one country, renewables and nuclear. In other could be coal, gas and renewables. In another one we should also use an incredible amount of renewables and to introduce efficiency, very high efficiency. It means that in each member state we can have as a basis for our energy policy and energy supply, quite different energy resources.
But the problem is that at the moment there are very, very different energy mixes in Europe between the different countries.
Yes,
they
that's
are
right.
Quite
but
different.
It is absolutely possible, maybe even better, because we are more secure, because we can always use from the other energy sources to produce energy. If we are properly connected, it means if we work on the single internal energy market for the whole European Union. We haven't achieved it yet. We need much more interconnections for gas and electricity. Gas, electricity, to spend money from the national level, also connecting Euro facility, quite a new fund for just such an investment, interconnections. Then we can create single internal energy market for gas and electricity and to support each other, so it's higher security of supply in each member state. We can also compete on this market between the producers, suppliers, and to achieve lower prices,
but
affordable prices.
Better interconnection will not solve the problem that we are still too much dependent from the Russian gas, for instance.
Of course not. But if we have our common internal energy market, it will be easier to negotiate with our outside suppliers.
Well, that's not the case for the moment.
Not yet.
Each country is negotiating
not yet.
alone.
Well, yes, but we would like to change the situation thanks to internal energy market as well. And we should finish with our interconnections and to stop energy islands, like Baltic states, for example, or Spain and Portugal together. Energy islands. We should stop until 2015.
You mean with energy islands, they're not enough connected with other countries? Of course. They're too dependent for one source of energy?
Well, we are not properly connected also between Poland and Germany, or between Czech Republic, Austria and Hungary. But they are not islands, completely island. In the two cases, Baltic states and such a case like Spain and Portugal is very dangerous because they are disconnected with the rest of Europe. But member states of the European Union promised twice that they are ready to finish, to connect ourselves until the 2015.
But the prices are really increasing in Europe compared to China and the United States, who have cheaper energy prices. So how can we deal with our competitiveness in Europe? So how can we just improve this competitiveness with this internal energy market, you think?
Yes, it will be easier. I mean, in 1-2 years, if we open our borders to competition, and we could buy in the future, could buy, for example, living in Bulgaria, we could buy energy, electricity from Austria, or being a citizen of Italy, we can buy electricity from Germany because it's cheaper. And if we are well connected and consumers could achieve all the information about the market and also support from the ICT, because it must be smart technologies. In this case, we could change completely the situation, and we can even earn 13 billion euro per year for our citizens. 13 billion euro per year is an enormous amount of money, thanks to single market and possibility of choosing the supplier and producer. And in this case, it will be certainly better with the energy prices, because we know very well that all the prices on the market depends on energy prices, because everything depends on energy, and then we can be more competitive in our economy, and we can achieve growth and create jobs. At the end, we would like to create jobs for our citizens.
Concerning energy prices, do you think that shale gas is an alternative, real alternative to decrease the energy prices?
Well, as we see in the United States, it could solve a lot of problems, because if we use shale gas instead of coal, for example, it's much better from environmental protection, and also climate issue we can improve.
Coal is very much used in Poland or in Germany.
And we are trying to find shale gas on our continent. Could be very helpful. Let's say gas for chemical industry in the United States is 4 times cheaper than in our continent. So competition is impossible, because they are much more competitive in the case of free trade agreement, because we negotiate free trade agreement with the United States. So we must do everything to develop production of shale gas, if it is possible. Of course, keeping in our mind all the environmental protection rules, because we would like to do everything and to extract in agreement
because
with all the rules.
Extraction technique.
We can do everything to avoid. Yeah, it's just in front of us. We should do a lot of work to avoid any pollutants.
How, for example?
Well, to develop a special technology and using chemicals which are not dangerous at all. And it is possible. It was checked also in the United States, because they've got more than 20 years practice in this issue. And we must go more or less in the same direction, being even more cautious, because we are a more crowded continent. So we can achieve that. It will take much time, of course, quite a few years, and of course a big costs. But at the end, we can achieve much lower energy prices, like in the United States and even in China.
You talk about a better coordination of energy politics. What is your comment, or what about the fact that Germany decided without any coordination to quit and to abandon nuclear energy?
Well, as I explained a few minutes ago, in each member state, we have open choice. We can use nuclear or coal or gas or renewables. It depends on national decision. So decision of Germany to stop nuclear power plants in next 10 years or something.
Without any coordination, without any communication
it's absolutely
with the
possible. It's absolutely allowed. What we should really take about, we should think about all the rules between us. For example, if we build nuclear power station close to the border with other country, we should check the security together. And the security of power plants must be, of course, on the highest level. And environmental protection in the case of digging coal extraction should be also on the highest level. Using coal, we should use the most advanced technologies which are not giving big emission or even zero emission technologies. It is possible using coal. So it's also necessary to develop technologies on our continent. And we are doing it together. We have special set plans
for that.
Yeah, of course. We've got quite a lot of money in Horizon 2020, in structural funds.
Does it mean
Well,
much?
it's in Horizon 2020 we have about 80 billion euro for research only. Of course, for energy, not so much, but maybe 10, 15 billion altogether, and we take also together with the structural funds. It's an incredible amount of money, and we would like to create new technologies together to achieve something which we call European added value. If we add our experience in all the technologies together, we could have quite a big achievement, and especially such an important example, carbon capture and storage. If we use oil or gas or coal, we produce CO2, which could be dangerous from point of view of pollution, let's say, climate change. But we can capture the CO2 from the flue gases and then to store it underground. And we're just trying to elaborate this technology, which is not easy on the global European scale. It's very important. So let us go to most modern technologies, also developing renewables, which is the most important, and energy efficiency. The first place is energy efficiency. Why? Because the cheapest energy is the energy we should not produce at all.
Last question for the consumers. Energy prices are increasing, and you talk in your report about better communication for consumer. If I well understand that, that means that there is not enough competition on our market today in Europe because consumers are not enough aware about the different offers.
Of course, but maybe we've got only a few examples, like some Scandinavian countries, maybe part of Great Britain, maybe somewhere in Germany, that we have some information and possibility for consumers to choose the supplier and producer. But we need it in quite big global European scale. And it is not easy to achieve. First of all, interconnections between the member states, of course, until 2015, to have the same codes of transmission, because it's very important that we transmit from one country to another.
It's just a wish, because how can we reach this aim?
It should be everything. It should be in smart grids, and it should be organized automatically. And for the consumer, should be very simple signal. For example, when light is red, the energy is very costly. If light on your, let's say, washing machine, if light is orange, well, is well, 50-50. But when it's green, you have the cheapest energy, and then go and to switch on your washing machine,
Yeah, but it doesn't
not
give me
using when it is red.
does
So,
not give
but
me
it
the choice
must be
between-
such a way, because otherwise other consumers will lose this possibility of have a choice.
It does not give me the choice between the different companies which deliver energy.
It's another problem, because we can have also something like home broker or local broker, and he or she could have a choice on our behalf. It's like on stock exchange. We don't know everything. We go to somebody who is a wise man or wise lady to advise us about the decision. And we should have such a support as well. So we need a lot of work, but I'm quite sure in next few years it will be quite different situation on our market, because we have a very good examples, as I said, in Scandinavian countries, in part of Great Britain, Germany. Let us go in this direction. It will take some time, but at the end it will be much cheaper for all of us and for our economy.
So sorry, but we're running out of time, so we have to stop here. So if it's this internal energy market, when will it be ready?
Well,
you
the
think
market
if it-
physically,
Yes.
well, 2015. But later
too
we should
early.
introduce all the rules. Well, 3 years ago, with Jacques Delors, former president of the European Commission, we launched such an idea of European energy community. 3 years ago only. And now, three years later, we've got on the table between the member states, European institutions, single internal market for energy. The crucial point of European energy community. You see how quickly we are very fast in the European Union, even
You're really optimistic, well.
in the time of crisis. Maybe energy is one field which could unite us even in the time of crisis.
We begin with it. Europe
And
began with
supporting
coal
the-
and
yeah,
steel.
yeah.
So why not?
And European energy community and single market for energy here in European Parliament has achieved a big support. 47 against 2 in the ITRE committee is a great result.
Thank you, Mr. Buzek, and thank you, Jean-Michel. Thank you,
Thank you very much.
both of you. And see you for our next guest of the week.